Keiko's Diary.
Welcome to the Keiko's Diary podcast, where I get up close and personal with creatives to uncover the people behind the art. Without further ado, let's bring in today's guest, the genius himself, Kevin Cutliffe.
Oh, come on. That's too nice of you.
Hi, Kev. How are you doing?
I'm always ready to rock. Happy to be here.
And I'm so happy that you're joining me today. I've been looking forward to this. And Kevin, we've actually known each other and worked together for many years now. And I just want to say that I'm so proud of you and everything you've accomplished so far. I can say that you are such a hard worker and you truly love what you do.
I really appreciate that. I mean, Project Infinity is such a great show, and I was really honored to be part of that project. You know, you worked on my demo, so I'm happy that we can have a continuing relationship.
Yeah, and speaking of your own creative journey, you booked your first anime at age 18. That is quite a feat. This is something you've always known you wanted to do. So could you talk a little bit about your own voiceover journey and what led you to where you are today?
Yeah, for sure. I think my story is a lot different than a lot of voice actors that you'll see, where they kind of fell into it from like theater or from an acting background. You know, I have ADHD. I usually am very open about my ADHD, my ASD, and I've always been into animation and art and creation. My dad's a musician, John Cutliffe. He's incredible. My mom's also a musician as well. And so voice acting has always been something I know and I want to do. I've been obsessed with like Mel Blanc and Looney Tunes and stuff like that. And I had this audio book. It was called, it was from Geronimo Stilton. It's a series with a mouse, and, you know, he's kind of like a mouse version of Tintin in kind of a way. It's like a kid's version of that.
Yeah.
And the audiobook was narrated by Bill Lobley, and he did all the characters in the audiobook, including all the girls. And I thought that was so hilarious that I knew it was going to be something. I kind of fell back into voice acting when I was 14, you know, got a blue snowball, did the casting call club stuff, you know, kind of getting in there, and slowly networked my way up. You know, I booked Project Infinity when I was around 16, 17 as well. And slowly just kind of, because I think school, getting by with school and pursuing voice acting. And when I graduated high school, I kind of went straight forward into my voice acting career.
Okay, well, why don't we kick things off with my personal favorite segment of the show, the 60-second 411. Favorite color?
Pink.
Favorite movie?
Ooh, Wreck-It Ralph.
Ooh, favorite song?
I don't really have. I don't even have a favorite song. I love fall music.
Favorite game?
Ooh, I mean Pokemon, the Pokemon franchise for sure.
Yeah, greatest fear?
Ooh, kites, kinda. I can ride on an airplane, but I can't stand over an edge.
Hot or cold weather?
Sorry, say that again?
Hot or cold weather?
Cold for sure.
Night owl or morning bird?
Night owl.
Favorite singer?
Ooh, I really like Ed Sheeran. Lil Nas X.
Favorite food?
Sushi.
Favorite holiday?
Ooh, Halloween.
Biggest pet peeve?
This quiz.
Cats or dogs?
Cats.
If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Flying?
I agree. That's mine too. Well done, Kevin. Only 2 questions left.
The Spotlight.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is one of the first names many people think of when the word anime or card game is mentioned. The franchise has raked in nearly $20 billion since the manga first premiered in 1996. That's insane.
I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, my goodness. This spawned the world-famous card game as well as an anime franchise, which first started in 1998. And you happened to make your anime debut in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. It premiered on Disney XD and Hulu in June of last year. Your birthday month. No coincidence there. Yeah. And you are the voice of Ricky and several additional characters. Could you take a moment just to talk about how you first found out you got the role and just what that felt like?
Yeah, so I mean, Darren is a wonderful director, and you know, the folks at Konami have been great to me as well. I've always kind of assumed, not really assumed, but it's like, Darren is very open with new talent, and I knew that if there was anywhere that would probably be super nice to me and give me the shot, it'd be Darren and Konami.
Right.
I had auditioned for him multiple times before for like a video game and stuff like that, but when Sevens came around, I got the audition for pretty much all of the main characters at the time. So I auditioned for the main character and a couple of the side characters, and I didn't book any of them. What they said is that they liked my audition from my main character and gave me that secondary side character Ricky instead. I actually screamed when I got it. I am a big sleeper. I'm a big guy. I'm a big sleeper, so I kind of just woke up groggy and saw the email and kind of shot up because I was so excited. I was telling the producer, like, thank you so much. I can't believe that. I mean, Ricky, and he's my voice baby for sure. Even though he doesn't appear much, I love him. So getting the role was very honoring, because I have auditioned for Darren before, and I finally felt like I had shown my growth, especially after I've taken classes with him and stuff like that.
So many voice actors are able to record remotely now, and I assume that was the process that you used for Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens, correct?
Yeah, Konami Cross Media New York, which is the dubbing company for Yu-Gi-Oh!, they're very open for remote recording. When I first auditioned with them, they were offering to send mics and that sort of thing for the talent if they book, which is how they're really open to new talent. I turned 18 in 2020 during the pandemic. I graduated during the pandemic, so I was right there and ready to be a talent for people who needed remote talent.
You've also lent your voice to a number of live-action film dubs, such as the award-winning Broken Promise, where you voiced Alex, Fred, and Dezo, The Tunnel, where you voiced Kurt, and some additional characters, and most recently, the French film Delicious, where you voiced Benjamin. So I'm just kind of curious, did the teams let you watch the films to gain a deeper understanding of the plot prior to recording, or was it more of a cold read and you just had to jump in there and give it your best shot?
Well, so it's interesting because The Tunnel and Delicious were both done by a studio called New York Dub. That's the actual studio name. And no, The Tunnel was my very first dub role ever. I had booked it in January of 2021. I thought it was an audition. He told me, oh, hey, so we want to see how you sound like and your home studio spec. So can we get on a connection open call and do a quick spec check? So I'm like, okay, yeah, I would love to work with you. So I get on the live call and he's like, yeah, you sound good. So anyway, here's the movie. And we're going right into the movie. And I'm like, holy crap, we're dubbing a movie. So that was honoring. I don't know many of my colleagues on The Tunnel, but I know Mike Pollock was also on it. I heard his voice during when he was editing, and I freaked out because Mike Pollock was the first person I ever went to ask, how do I become a voice actor? I asked him. I was so young and dumb and very nervous, and so being in the same movie as him now was very honoring. So when Delicious came around, he wanted me for the movie, and no, we do cold reads for dubbing all the time. I was given the script in advance, but I don't read scripts in advance usually because if I do, I kind of come up with a take that I will stick with and the director might not like. So I always try to go in cold.
I, of course, have to talk to you about my personal favorite role you've brought to life. You may know why. It's, you guessed it, the unforgettable Milo Mellinger from my animated web series, Project Infinity. From the day you were brought onto the show, you made the character your own, and you made him so many people's favorite character. I saw it so many times in the comments. This cast has really become a little family. Would you mind talking a little bit about your time performing as Milo in the series as well as the film, which is currently in production?
I was happy to take the role. It's a really amazing series. I love how much creativity and production that you put into it. I think, it definitely needs a bigger audience for sure. I'm glad to hear that Milo is very loved, especially if it's due to my performance, because he is just a very fun and peppy character that I think, I really like playing these types of characters indeed. So so my time on Project Infinity was incredible. I always tried to get scripts on time. except when I didn't. And it's one of those roles where I'm going to cherish it for a long time. The movie, I was really excited to do more recording for Milo for the movie, and I'm excited to do more recording in the future.
Every time I would receive your lines, it was just, every take was a final take. It was just so solid, and you just understood the assignment from the beginning, and it's brilliant to watch. He's like a breath of fresh air because of your performance. Always a highlight in the show. So I'm so happy that the stars aligned and you were brought in.
Oh, for sure. I really appreciate you reaching out and seeing my talent. It was one of my very early roles, so the fact that it's lasted this long means so much.
You are also very experienced with scripted podcasts. You are best known as Bailiff in Food Crimes, which also features your Project Infinity co-star, Tom Aglio. But you've also starred in Dream Breachers, Interview with the Plushie. So when working on these podcasts, do you find it more challenging than your dubbing work, considering you can't see your characters?
No, actually, I think dubbing is harder. And there's one main reason for that is Pina is very open to collaboration. I think in the dubbing world, everyone has a deadline, everyone has a time limit. Dubbing is very, we gotta go, because the Japanese clients or whatever clients wherever, they want their product out as soon as possible. Dubbing is a very cheap industry because it's made to be brought out quickly. So when you're dubbing, you kind of just have to get things done. When I worked on Food Crimes, Ash and Matt, who created the show, since they created it and wrote it, they know exactly what they want, but they also are open to me writing jokes and kind of trying to mess around with takes and get something that they never thought there would be before. And when dubbing, it can be collaborative, but I think podcasting is a lot more collaborative in that regard. Interview with a Plushie, I wasn't live directed, so I kind of did just do my own thing, and the Tara who created the show really did love it. Pina is an amazing company. I think more people should definitely be listening to their podcast, especially if you have kids 5 to 12. I know I sound biased, but they legitimately make incredible content, especially Tara, who created both Dream Breachers and Interview with a Plushie. Dream Breachers was with a different studio, and it was my first time doing a round table cast in a live directed session. And that was kind of more go, but you still kind of had that freedom to kind of play around and mess around a little bit.
Have you ever?
First question, Kevin. Have you ever gone skydiving?
No, I haven't. My dad has.
Have you ever touched a snake?
Yeah, I've touched a snake before. I kind of wanted to pet one for a while, but I kind of pushed that aside now. I have too many pets.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I could sleep in a house if I knew a snake was in it. You're very brave. Have you ever broken your phone?
No, I'm actually a very big nerd when it comes to smartphones. No, I totally forgot this. One time I was in the UK and we were at the beach and I dropped my phone in the water, so never mind.
Have you ever been betrayed?
Ooh, I mean, I guess it really depends on what's betrayal. Like, my sister ate my ice cream once. I'm a very forgiving person, so I probably didn't even notice if I was.
Have you ever cried in public?
Yeah, I'm a pretty sappy person. Even though I'm making fun of my mom for doing the same, I've cried at movies before. Things like that.
Have you ever broken any bones?
No, I haven't. And it's really funny. There's a subreddit that I don't use Reddit that much, but there's a funny one where it's kind of called Never Broke a Bone, and if you break a bone, you're banned from the Reddit. So I hope to never be banned from that subreddit,
Have you ever exploded with rage?
I don't really get mad that often. Maybe it's if I've stubbed my toe once and just got really upset.
Have you ever been cheated on?
No, I've never been cheated on. I'm really happy with my current relationship, and my boyfriend is amazing.
Have you ever seen a ghost?
No, but I used to really want to. I was a big Ghost Hunters fan as a kid.
Yeah, I used to watch Ghost Adventures all the time, and then I kind of started having these nightmares, and so I had to stop.
Oh, no.
Have you ever seen a UFO?
No, I haven't, but we might soon if all those news stories are real. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Kind of crazy, I know, right? Mm-hmm. Have you ever run away?
No, I like my mom's cooking too much and my stepdad's cooking too much. I'd never run away.
That's awesome. Yeah, stay for the food always. Have you ever done something crazy?
No, not really.
Have you ever tried something and regretted it?
I think I have a lot of anxiety, so I regret a lot of things that I try. But I usually regret more not trying things. You know, my anxiety can stop me for a lot of things, and I end up regretting it because I should have just done it in the first place. I try to lock in everything on my calendar, so if things go wrong, I get really anxious.
Have you ever pulled an all-nighter?
Oh yeah, I mean, I just do it now, and I regret it every time. I'm one of those people who are like, I gotta clean, and it's 2 a.m., and then I will never clean when it's, you know, it's like you should never trust how you feel after 11 p.m.
Have you ever been terrified?
Probably when I got hit on my bike, but I didn't realize how terrified I was until the adrenaline wore off, because it was like, oh yeah, I'm fine, and I just kind of walked it off, and I was like,
First question from S2E08. They had this to say: I loved him as Milo. Project Infinity is my favorite series. The ending was perfection, even though it messed me up for a while. I'm sorry about that. It made me very emotional. Would Kevin be able to reveal his favorite part about portraying his character? If it isn't too much trouble, I would also love to hear his Milo voice. Thank you.
My favorite part when I was playing him is every time he was like flirting with the princess. I just thought that was so funny, especially because, you know, everyone's, you know, he's a little kid. So everyone kind of just sees him as a little kid and finds it really funny. Even though like there was life and death going on, he was really trying, you know, he was simping for the princess, man.
Okay, another question from Ultra Fully Loaded. This one made me laugh. This is great. And I have to agree. I'm curious. They say, dude's got some awesome locks. What kind of shampoo does he use?
Honestly, I just use whatever my mom buys. Because
cool.
I don't really have my own. This is funny. I will always prefer like female-oriented shampoos and stuff like that. Just because, like, you know, it's like female body wash is like, you know, coconut and good selling stuff, and then like you have Axe, which is like nuclear waste smell or something. And like, I'm not about that. So
I agree with you. I've never understood why they market products like that so split. It should just be whatever you want to smell like. Another question from Rebecca R. They said, hello, Kevin. I'm a voice actor from North Carolina. Making my website is something I've been putting off for a while. Could you give me some pointers on setting one up? Seriously, yours is immaculate.
I've created mine with Google Sites, and that's because I'm very cheap. Google Sites is a free website maker with a lot of caveats. Like, you don't get like good SEO, and you'd have to fight with it a little bit to make sure it's mobile friendly as well. But ultimately, you're saving money because it's free, so it works out in the end. I mean, you can also use like Squarespace, Wix, whatever. There's plenty of resources out there. I know my buddy Jim Frank, he's going to be doing a website course, I think, soon. So definitely check out Jim, Fronk.
One more question from Bulbadex. They said, whoa, you're in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s? Cool beans. I bet it's hard getting into character. What's your most favorite role yet?
Bailiff in Food Crimes. There's just something about that show that I just absolutely love. Ash and Matt know exactly how to create content that's not just for kids but families as well. I think their time doing like a lot like live action and things like that really helps them as well. Bailiff, he's hilarious. He was supposed to be just like one-liners every episode where he introduces the cases, but it was until that I kind of brought my character that they started writing him in more, becoming best buddies with the prosecutor and defense, and just kind of it's just that show is amazing, and I hope it continues on for years to come.
The Deep Dive.
If a genie could grant you 3 wishes, what would they be?
Ooh. I'd say money is too easy. I guess everyone would say money, right?
Right.
But definitely help my mom out right now. I think that's the most important thing, is to help my family out. That would be my first wish. My second wish, to get the opportunity to audition for some shows that I've been really trying to get into lately. 3 is to be able to do more interviews like this, because it's really fun to be so open.
Are you afraid of death?
I used to not be. I'm very philosophical. I like talking to friends about philosophy and where we are in the universe. But I think recently I've started to become more afraid of it. Not dying itself, but the concept of non-existence, which is something that was kind of talked about in an Adam Ruins Everything episode where he talks about death and his "you are going to die" speech, which is so amazing. Adam Conover is amazing.
Yeah.
But it is, I guess, like, you know, if you think about not existing, your brain kind of tries to stop you from doing that.
Yeah, shut down.
You can't imagine you not existing. I think that's a really existential thing to think about.
What is your biggest regret? Another deep one.
So my stepmom is a humanitarian worker. I've traveled all over the world with her because she helps refugees, and she's amazing.
Wow.
So I lived in Jerusalem for 2 years. It was really eye-opening, learning the cultures, learning the history, and Jerusalem and the surrounding areas, Bethlehem, and you know, all that. And you know, my biggest regret is, you know, I was a dumb kid. I was too glued to my computer, too glued to my 3DS. I was a 10-year-old playing my 3DS, too busy in the car, not taking in the sights. And those 2 years just passed. And when I moved back here, and I realized I should have appreciated being overseas more. So whenever I travel now, I do try to
absorb,
be more appreciative. Yeah, for sure. Because, you know, I visited Burma. I visited, you know, Jordan. I visited Thailand, and all of those countries are incredible, and I try to take it all in. And I hope to do the same when I visit Uganda over in October.
What is your earliest memory of life?
I was like 3 years old, and I just woke up, and we were in my apartment my mom's apartment over in Sandy Springs. I remember my dog. His name was Kona. He was a border collie. And yeah, I just remember it was just another day.
At MLA Entertainment, we always say keep being creative. And we have listeners who are working on their own craft. Some of it's in the entertainment field and some of it's not. So since you've been really successful pursuing your dreams and working to make them come true, what does being creative mean to you? And how has it impacted your life and career? Do you have any advice?
I was visiting MomoCon. I got dragged along by some friends just a couple weeks ago. And I feel like I was starting to lose my way as a voice actor, or lose my goals for a little bit, just because the bookings weren't coming in. And, you know, I was starting to see it as a more businessy thing than a creativity thing. But when I was standing in line to meet a voice actress named Sarah Nicole Robles. She is the voice of Luz in the Owl House. I wanted to talk to her because we have some mutuals and just say hi. You know, there was a bunch of kids in line. There was a bunch of people in line who were really, really big fans of the Owl House. And when they got up to her, they were crying, like crying and hugging her, and just so touched. And that kind of reminded me why I'm kind of in the business. I'm here to make memories. And ultimately, you know, I think of my 5-year-old brother, and I want to be in media that he consumes. I want to be in things that he will remember and be touched by for the rest of his life.
Now, I would just like to give you the floor to tell the viewers about any upcoming projects you've got coming out, or just anything you'd like to share with them before we sign off.
There's a few dubs I'm in that I can't talk about right now, but, you know, I'm always open to bookings. If there's anyone creating content out there that needs a voice actor for your project, please get in touch with me. I'm Kevin Cutliffe, and for MLA Entertainment, keep being creative.
You can help support the Keiko's Diary podcast by liking, subscribing, and sharing it with your friends. Sounds like you're pretty powerful. Thank you for listening, and keep being creative.